just normally like, oh gosh, I don't want to give up stuff. I like candy. I like sweets. And so, it's that kind of like dread, before that thing comes on. I mean, are all of you somewhat familiar with Lent? Yeah. Okay. How many days is Lent? Anybody know how many days? No, not the team. Come on. Okay. Yeah. 40 days. Yeah. Good. So Lent is 40 days, and there's 40 is like a big number in the Bible. So I think Noah's Ark. It was 40 days, 40 nights, and then after that, in the desert. You know what happened in the desert for 40 years? The team could help out here. Megan? Well, this is a higher level one. Yeah, the Jews wandered in the desert. So one of the biggest books in the Old Testament is Exodus, which is when the Jews are just wandering and complaining and yelling at God. And then also in the beginning of the story of the gospel story, but Jesus goes somewhere for 40 days. Does anybody know where Jesus goes for 40 days to pray and fast? Well, give everybody else a chance. All right, go for it. The desert, yeah. So there's a lot of 40s in Scripture, and so the biggest one is that Jesus 40 days in the desert, and so that's kind of our Lenten experience. So entering for 40 days into this preparation for Easter, and so just as so Jesus went into the desert to prepare himself for his life, death, and resurrection, and so God himself needed to prepare himself as a human, which is pretty incredible, which means obviously we always need to prepare ourselves for whatever it is. So, maybe you've done certain diets, or certain like exercise things, or, even in school, like, when you're going through school or even teaching school, you have that like preschool dread, before school dread, like, coming, summer's over. But ultimately, Lent is that time to prepare us, to fortify us, and to get us ready in many ways for the joy of Easter. And so, if we don't prepare for something, then it's not going to be worth it. It's just going to be Easter comes, and then it's like, all right, well, that was nice. We went to church and prayed a little bit. But Lent makes Easter incredible, because if we really enter into Lent, then Easter can be a profound moment of like we went through in a way that the death and suffering of Jesus. And so Lent has three things that that are the pillars. So prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. And so there's like a little kiddie song, but I won't make you sing it. But prayer, fasting, and almsgiving, you might be able to ask some of your little kids about this. But so prayer. So Lent is a good time to deepen our prayer life. So especially if we've don't have much of a prayer life, or if we've not been praying a lot, Lent is a great time to commit to more prayer, to commit to a certain type of prayer. And so there are, you could use apps, that lead you through it. There's books that every day give you prompts, or you could say, oh, I'm praying a rosary every day. I'm going to read the Bible every day. I'm going to have silent prayer for 15 minutes straight every day. So that's a good way to enter into Lent. Fasting, and so there's 2 times during Lent that we need to fast, which is Ash Wednesday, which is the first day of Lent, and then Good Friday, which is right at the tail end of Lent. And so, but we can enter into fasting, throughout the season if we want. So maybe every Friday, or whatever day works for you. But ultimately, the church, the universal idea is that everyone is called to give up at least one thing during Lent. And so, the common things, especially for kids, I'm giving up candy, I'm giving up TV. Um, and so there's kind of the classic ones that you probably heard of, but uh, Lent is a good time to get creative. To think of different things that we're clinging onto in our life. So I know my friend's dad always joked. He was always like, we're like, "Oh, Mr. Rossi, what are you giving up this Lent?" And he's like, "Peas, giving up canned peas." Oh, great! Wow, what a sacrifice! Or I think he said lima beans or something. It's like, great. Uh, and so sometimes we just like, oh, every year I give up this one thing, and it's my little Lent thing. But every year we should assess, like, what am I clinging to? So am I clinging to my phone? Am I clinging to to food? Uh, am I or maybe I'm clinging to some sort of attachment, music in the car. Whatever it is, when you think about what we're clinging to, and assess, okay, how can I deal with this? How can I mitigate it? Like my table, I mentioned, um, you know, you can get creative and think of. I gave up sarcasm for a couple years in a row, which is really hard for me. And but it was really beautiful for me to, like, okay, I need to be more sincere with my language. Um, I heard that, like complaining. People can give up complaining. So it's so easy every day to be like, oh, look at that weather. Oh, my husband is a jerk. Oh, But if we give up, if we're attached to complaining, then we're like, oh my gosh, you realize how much you complain. So anyway, so that's fasting. Then almsgiving. So almsgiving is uh, you know, one way is to give stuff away. So Lent. I remember one year, I think it was Lent, that I told my buddy, I was like, he's like, he prides himself on the fact that at any moment he could pick up like shove things in a bag in 5 seconds and pick it up and leave and never come back to his house. Like, he's that simple, right? And so I'm like, Mike, could you help me, like, get rid of stuff? So he, like, went. This is in seminary. He went to my room. He's like, you don't need this shirt. I'm like, I love that shirt. And he's like, you don't need this poster. I love that poster. But then I realized, like, oh, I'm just, more attached to things than I need to be. So it's a great time to, like, look through your clothes, look through some of your possessions, and go even talk to your kids. Like, all right, we have like 50 different toys that are the same thing. Can we give some away? But also, almsgiving can be with time and money as well. And so every Lent, it's a good thing to say, okay, here, what are a couple extra charities I could give to, and make it maybe difficult. So, oh, well, this might be harder to afford, going out to eat for my family, but we'll spend that money for the poor. Or again, time. So there's many ways to volunteer at St. Albert or elsewhere, and so finding maybe one weekend where you could, a Saturday where you could give time to serve, or even informally help out a neighbor or a family member. So prayer, fasting, almsgiving, Jesus in the desert, the Jews in the wilderness. So these are all, this is what Lent is, and hopefully, especially during this OCIA process, it could be a powerful experience as you lead up to entrance into the church. And so this Lent could be maybe the most powerful for you spiritually, to prepare yourself for this great Easter. So thank you. Absolutely. And I am going to meet with a couple because they're getting married.